You're watching SBA Today. With all the latest news, stories, and advice, here are your hosts, Paul Long and Tonya Mazurek.
Can a few lines, Paul, that's buried inside a continuing resolution actually affect whether SBA lenders can keep making loans? Yeah, turns out yes. It can. Something important happened in the Senate this weekend. Many of you may not know or recognize the importance of. SBA specific piece could easily get lost in the bigger Washington headlines of what occurred. Anyway, apparently, apportionment anomaly is our sexy topic of the week. Anyway.
And welcome to SBA Today, sponsored by SBA Collective for the week of August 11th. I am Paul Long.
And I am Tonya. And yes, okay, continuing that thought, Senate passes a continuing resolution. But the SBA language is the story for us to actually go through, right? Senate passed the credit resolution 90-6 on early hours of Saturday morning, like 4 a.m., y'all. Senate version would keep the federal government funded through December 11th of 2026. Now, keep in mind, House already passed one that would keep it funded differently, of course, through December 4th, but it doesn't include what the one that was passed on Saturday includes, which is a continuing resolution that Nagel actually introduced and has advocated for. Nagel says the Senate passed continuing resolution includes this advocated anomaly language that they have been trying to get in there, and it works for both the 7A and the secondary market guarantee program. Yeah, Nagel says the language allows both programs flexibility to support lending, secondary market activity at necessary volume. Keep that word in mind, within the applicable annual authorization without a prorated limitation during the continuing resolution period. Now.
So, continuing resolution is a temporary funding authority, aka a Band-Aid. When Congress has not completed a full year appropriations by the start of a fiscal year, which if you are new to SBA lending, you should probably know this because we don't pass budgets, we pass continuing resolutions. But anyway,
exactly.
So, and the bottom line is without special treatment, these prorated shares, we don't have money for loans. So, and weird, that affects us. So that's a big thing on there.
Absolutely. And like, I don't know. Let's make sure, I guess, everybody that's listening actually understands, I guess, what we're talking about with this, because it's a little, it's a few little lines that are buried in there, right? That make a really big difference. Okay. Borrowers and referral, including the borrowers and referral partners out there, what we want you to understand is we are not talking about SBA running out of money. We're not talking about that, right? That's what the continuing resolution actually helps, is to keep funding it until they can make up their minds, because obviously
get off their assets.
They can't make up their mind prior to the deadline. Weird. Anyway, we're talking about the possibility of having annual program capacity availability, but being limited in how quickly it can be used during a continuing resolution. Those are different, guys. Business acquisitions, construction projects, real estate closings, all that. They don't come neatly packaged and think of your pipeline. Think of your pipeline. I mean, it's the same thing, right? Things don't come in equal daily and monthly buckets, which is why this boring, seemingly anomaly language matters. Anyway.
One thing that I want to mention on this is think about if we have these daily limits. Let's take us back to a time far, far behind us called PPP. And remember when all of a sudden they would turn on the spigot, and then all of a sudden the big banks would go out there with their technology and eat up every little authorization possible, and the small little community banks out there going trying to get it, and then it shuts off because it runs out of money. That's what they're trying to avoid on this.
And that one is running out of money in general, though, Paul. This one, the little bit of difference is it's not that it's running out of money; it's running out of the capacity on a daily limit,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
And that's
that's the big piece of it. So anyway, keep going.
So, props to Nagel for working very
Big
hard
time.
on this. This is a big
Yeah.
deal for them. And thank you very much for doing that, the team there. So, I mean, the biggest thing is obviously we have a 7A authorization for 35 billion. And then, it's prorated based on the days covered in the continuing resolution, right? You have to be an accountant to like figure all this out. But Nagel said that neither program received the anomaly language. And yeah, we should turn that into a drinking game. So what that really means is the program has to operate within daily caps derived by the prorated authorization. So Nagel warned that high volume or pooled sale volume on a given day could cause a short-term pause on there. And I can just see nothing but problems if that
You think?
were to, yeah, no, right?
You think?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds like the government accounting, until you follow it all the way down, actually, that little rabbit hole to the closing table. Buyer waiting. Think about this, guys. Buyer waiting to take over a business, seller expecting proceeds, construction schedules, all of this actually can be affected even in a day, even if it shuts down just for the day, right? So the policy may be happening in Washington. The consequences can become very personal very quickly. And I wanted to take this because y'all know how I love to do analogies and do an analogy for any of you out there listening that this kind of sounds like a bunch of gibberish, right? You know, I got you. But think of it from terms of like a toll road. You got a toll road and they've allotted it a set amount of traffic, right? For the entire annual year or the entire year. During a continuing resolution, however, with an anomaly in it, that traffic can essentially, or without an anomaly, I'm sorry, that traffic can essentially be prorated out into daily allotments. So only a set amount can go through each day. Doesn't matter, right, that they're not yet at that annual amount, but only a set amount can go through per day. So how does this happen? Let's say it's a Tuesday morning and rush hour and things are much, going much faster. Or let's really dig in deep, right? And let's go into Thanksgiving morning, right? Obviously there's more people on the road on Thanksgiving, right? And so say the allotment for that day is hit at 10 a.m. in the morning. What's going to happen? That toll road is shut down for the day. It's just shut down for the day. And guess what? You're not getting turkey. You're not getting turkey, right? You got to wait till the next day and hopefully get in the line, for the next day's allotment as well. So it's kind of crazy. Anyway, there may still be plenty of capacity left for the year, as they say. You just can't use any of it that day, any more of it that day. The Nagel advocated anomaly included in the Senate passed version essentially says keep the road open to meet the demand, right? As long as we stay within the annual cap or the annual limit.
Yeah. Agreed. Yep.
Yeah.
I can just imagine having to tell a borrower, sorry, not today. Oh, nope, didn't make today either. Like, could you imagine that conversation? Closings are hard enough. Let's throw another
let's throw in another uncertainty and have to give, I mean, what do you say in a case like that, Paul? I mean, like, what would you say?
I'm doing everything I can, but it's the government's fault. Call your congressman.
Oh, shite. Well, yeah, exactly.
I actually say that. I'm like, oh, call your congressman.
It's so funny. I mean, because it's hard to know what you say in a case. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter what you say. The whole end point is somebody's getting damaged because you can't close when you need it to close. That's like the big old piece of it. But okay. I don't know.
And just trying to like educate, that's that's super hard. But another part of this is the secondary market. And I love my secondary market. So when these things happen, the secondary market also shuts down. I can't sell loans, therefore I can't make lots of money and be happy. And so, we obviously sell the guaranteed portion to the secondary market. That obviously brings in liquidity back to the institution, which is why it's out there. Yeah, the premiums are nice, but it's the liquidity is the reason for it.
Well,
That's
tell
the
them
big thing.
why. Why? Because guess what, guys? As soon as a bank gets that liquidity back in their coffers, basically, guess what they can do with it?
It's a
Relend it,
recycling.
lend it out
This
to
is
another
money
borrower.
laundering this is legal money
Don't
laundering in
listen to
every
him.
way, shape, and form.
Legal money laundering.
What?
It's wash and repeat. Oh gosh.
Isn't that laundering? There's what's money laundering. Come on, Tonya.
It's true. It's true. Anyway.
But definitely that, a lot of like smaller institutions like that really need that.
Mm-hmm.
And so keeping those doors open is a really important piece.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, guys, when we're talking about the program authorities, we're talking about I guess the capacity with SBA is legally permitting to support, not actually lend. I think maybe some of the borrowers out there really think that SBA is the one that's giving the cash out there. It's not like they have a 35.5 billion checking account that they're writing checks on daily, or there's a debit card somewhere sitting around. That's just not how it is, right? It's the banks that are lending this money, and it's SBA actually supporting and I don't know, I guess backing that money, not them supplying the money. Anyway, all right. So why should we care about this, guys? Borrower may never even know. Borrower doesn't even know or need to know that the guaranteed portion was sold when it comes to what Paul was talking about, right? On the secondary market. They don't need to know this, but why does it matter to them, right? Think about the ecosystem. Like Paul said, lender makes the loan, capital is deployed, guaranteed portion can be sold. It's not always, guys, can be sold. Liquidity comes back, blah, 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 wash, lend, repeat, whatever, lend again. Secondary market isn't just something that's happening behind the scenes after a borrower's closing. It helps keep the whole wheels turning for the next borrower. I don't know.
And it's a good investment vehicle for individuals out there. It's in a lot of funds out there. It's in that's everywhere.
True. Paul, how important do you think the secondary market liquidity, I guess, is to the smaller community lenders versus larger institutions? I love getting into this because there's a difference, guys.
It's very critical for smaller organizations, and smaller organizations have a more difficult time usually doing SBA lending just because the complexity, they don't have the bodies, et cetera. The larger institutions, I'd probably say maybe 3 billion higher, can do a little bit more because they have the people to do so. But when those smaller institutions, like liquidity matters. One big loan is a big freaking deal compared to one of our big bank friends that, a massive loan to whatever is, it's a drop in the pond. It's like $1 in your pocket.
Exactly, because they have to have the liquidity in, and there's set amount of liquidity they have to have for the amount that they're allowed basically to lend out again. So if you've got something tied up in, either on your books, I mean, shoot, I had this happen, Paul, outside of the continuing resolution, but it's the same daggum thing. I had it happen, as you remember, in one of my past deals or whatever, where the government did shut down, but then there was we were stuck in the authorization. Anyway, I don't even want to go into all that because we've all heard it. But it can happen outside of just this. This isn't the only thing. This just happens to be what we're talking about now. How do premiums, investor demand affect lender behavior? Now, Paul, I think this is a good one.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, let's pretend the secondary market goes away. You would see a mass exodus of lenders.
Oh, gosh,
therefore, less capital to small businesses. So if you're thinking, secondary market, whatever, no. The secondary market is 100%. Literally like cutting off a leg or both legs.
Or two.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, it's a big deal. So, when your institution, and again, these are great to keep on your books too. Don't get me wrong. And, we do it.
There's
some other
reasons both ways.
There's reasons for it because you have the guarantee, but taking that away, or limiting that or anything like that, it really is a problemo. And so, again, these continuing resolutions need to be able to do that so we can continue to provide that liquidity on there. So
and that's what I found so interesting, I guess, with this is it's not something that most people would read this big old document, right, of Congress and find that, tiny little thing in there and recognize that it has a significant impact, truly, on
Right.
the SBA industry. I am so thankful that NAGLE has our back, right? They are our advocates. If you're not a NAGLE member,
Yep.
you should be. Anyway,
That's right.
so
Amen.
kudos NAGLE. anyway, all right. So what the borrower doesn't see. So what the borrower doesn't see, it doesn't mean that it doesn't affect them, right? So the borrower sees
Right.
my SBA loan, right?
Mhm.
Behind the loan may sit Congress, SBA, the lender, the guarantee, the FTA, the secondary market, investors, appropriations mechanics, and advocacy organizations. Hint, hint, Nagel. Most borrowers should not have to understand every piece of that ecosystem. Their SBA professional should. Now, I will admit to everyone, guys, I did not realize. I did not think anything about. Paul, did you think anything about a continuing or the continuing resolution and then the anomaly language within it and how
No,
that
I
might affect
wouldn't.
us?
I just, every time I always thought about that, it was
Yeah,
just purely, all right, kick the can down the road. We got budget for another 3 months. Let's keep going. Like it was just rinse and repeat. And then when the details kind of came out and kind of reading it, it's like, okay, there's a
exactly.
little bit. It's interesting
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
that
Well,
works
that's
on
why
there.
we wanted to talk about this today and tell everybody because
Yeah.
I'm sure many of you out there had the same thing that Paul and I had with this, right? You learn really as you dig into some of these things, but that's a really important line that we hope that we get in there. And let's see here. Okay. Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of
Mhm.
beat the dead horse. Thank you for
Yeah,
watching C-SPAN.
true. Yeah, true. I don't know, but
But
well, you
again,
want to give them the
it
quick
goes.
history.
Yeah,
It's a very
I mean, obviously, if you're new to SBA lending, this happens. It seems to be like once a year, but it happens more frequently than you think. Hey, we're running out of money, and in 2025, June 2025, hey, we're gonna go over, and they said, oh, okay, well, as usual, we'll wait until you're out of money. Boom,
and
we're
they
out of
ran
money,
out that time.
and they ran
Yes.
out. And I
Yes.
remember trying to submit an authorization at that exact moment. I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. And then a little while later they increased
Yeah.
it and they made it happen. So again, this is really important. I know it's not the most sexy topic, but it's
Yeah.
important as SBA lenders that we understand that.
It is important. And yeah, anyway, they resume lending, the exhaustion of the annual ceiling. Yeah, that could be a problem. Anyway,
Yeah.
not the same as continuing resolution that we're talking about, obviously, because that's a prorating constraint, but it's similar, guys. And that's what I think we all need to know. It's going to give some of the same um, behaviors, right? That running out of money can, because if it's
Mhm.
basically the same dadgum thing, even if it's different. But if you're sitting there waiting to get an authorization, or you're sitting there waiting to close, or you're, whatever, not close, I guess, but yeah, waiting to get to sell your loan, any of that fun stuff, and you hit that limit on that day, it can create a waterfall effect of problems. So it is a big deal.
So this is a proposal. This
Oh yes,
is not
yes,
law yet. I want to make
yes,
that very clear. But it's
yes.
it's
Still
proposed
has to
through
get through the
December
house.
11th. So we could be
Yeah.
talking about this around Christmas time and having a whole nother bomb to deal with at the end
Mhm.
of our calendar year, which is important to so many of us. So
Yeah,
if you haven't learned anything from previous years, please get your authorizations in before December 11th,
right.
or you are gambling.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know. Paul, you think we got any more on that? I mean, there's
Nope,
plenty
I
more,
think we're
guys.
good.
Go
Yep, we're
look it
good.
up,
Bring us
though.
home.
Go
Yeah.
look it up. and look at the language. Go to Nagel and find out what they're doing and how they're advocating for us, because I think it's very important, actually. Anyway, okay. I would love to say we're here every Tuesday morning, but we did just kind of change that to where we're here like every other week until we figure it out. But if there is specific news that comes out, you're going to see us here on Tuesday morning on the off weeks. I don't know, check out our LinkedIn and or YouTube or any of the places where you get your podcast and watch us at your convenience. If you have questions, comments, or, just want to shoot the what, reach out to Paul or I on our personal LinkedIn pages. Share, guys, because that's what gets this out to more people, and then we can continue the show and move forward with it. Love spending our time with you guys on Tuesday mornings, and we know you have plenty of things that you could be doing instead. Thank you for spending it with us. We will see you in 2 weeks, unless we see you next week.
Yep. See you later.
Anyway, see you guys.